Me and Joe here on the Wrestling Pit podcast, where we will talk a bit about all everything to do with wrestling. So I'll let Jonathan set the stage for you guys today.
Thank you, sir. Before we go into business, we want to thank everyone who has so far joined our Facebook, Instagram, all of the social media formats. Uh, if you notice on Facebook, we're almost at 900 followers. Thank you very much. Um, for those who are watching for the first time, you might say that you have seen these two together already. It's because you have. We have had older podcast, Wrestling Talk Now, with our good friend JLB. But this is a different format. There's not going to be that much of a recap of wrestling because in wrestling in a whole, there's a lot to cover. So now we're just going to do picks and packs of what we like, what we don't like. So grab your coffee, grab your Joe, sit down, tell your kids you're busy, and enjoy the episode.
When he says Joe, don't get it twisted, okay? He's talking about a coffee. Don't get it twisted, all right?
Not J-O, the J-O-E. So before we get into it, we're also going to talk about why we like wrestling. Fast. I am in my wrestling pit, as you could see in the background. I love collecting figurines. This is how the podcast, the group Wrestling Pit started. It was mostly just figurines, collecting. I'm a big fan of that. Like most children and kids, I'm almost 40. I was a Hulkamania fan. So my first WrestleMania was WrestleMania 6 with Warrior. From there till now, the history explains itself. My friend and co-partner, my tag team partner, MCC, where did it start for you?
Well, I've told this story before on our previous podcast, but for the people that haven't seen, wrestling all started. Wrestling for me is a family thing because as my cultural aspect came from my father and my mother, obviously, but my love for wrestling came from my grandfather on my mother's side. My dad didn't care for wrestling much, still doesn't actually. My mother either, but my grandfather was a big fan, and I remember him watching it all the time. Every Saturday mornings, he would always watch it. And whether I'd be watching cartoons or whatever, and then he'd come and sit, and he goes, "Oh no, now it's time to watch some wrestling." So I would sit with him and I would watch wrestling, and it was the golden age at that time of wrestling. So all the characters were all bigger than natural, and that was the gimmicks back then. And I was so memorized, or I don't know if that's the right word, but mesmerized is the right word. Mesmerized by these bigger than nature characters like Hulk Hogan. It wasn't my favorite, but definitely one of my favorites. But like the Hulk Hogan's, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, Macho Man. Macho Man was a bit of a crazy guy, and I always liked those crazy guys because they made me feel like myself, and I could reflect on them a bit, my image. But I was growing up those first few years, maybe from 6 to 10. Those 4 years were always watching wrestling on Saturday mornings with my grandfather, and it was my time that I would basically spend with him closely. I would spend more time with him, but those were the days where it was only us two, so it really meant a lot to me until I got hooked myself, and I couldn't miss it anymore. My grandfather, unfortunately, when I was 12 years old, passed away, but at that time I had a bit more freedom, and I knew how to look for things on the TV. So, and I knew what time it was. So I never stopped watching those Saturday morning Superstars. The name of the show was called Superstars.
Yes,
and I always kept watching it. And then in 1993, when I was 10 years old, because I think it started in May, I was still 10 years old. It was the year that I turned 11, but I was still 10 years old. That's when Raw started. And then Raw was a game changer. every Monday nights became, till this day, every Monday nights is dedicated, whether I work or not, is dedicated to Monday Night Raw. And that's the story of how Eminem, CC / Kid Crazy / Costa, whatever you guys want to call me, that's how I fell in love with wrestling.
He goes under a lot of names, if you noticed.
Yeah, depends of my character on that day.
Yeah. Thoughts of wrestling today. That's our next point on the list of many things.
Okay, so let me go first on this one. In general, wrestling today, in general, I think we have a bit of everything for everybody, which is good. It's maybe not the best time to be a wrestling fan, because I think in the late '90s, when we had the WWE and back then WWF and WCW at its highest point, I think we had 10 million people on average watching wrestling every week on different shows. So I think that was really the strong era, or the strongest era of wrestling. But nowadays it's worldwide, and we have tastes for everybody, and which is good for the people that prefer a sports-based product, concentrated on wrestling itself, a bit less storyline based and more sports based. You got AEW. You got which gives you a lot of great matches, and you know that you will tune in to AEW and you will see great matches. Will you want to watch again next week? Not guaranteed, but at least you'll know you left there and you saw some good wrestling matches. Then you have other more maybe introverted people that like maybe to stick to the smaller things and don't like to give too much space to the bigger corporate products, which are AEW and WWE. You have TNA, which is a very good product, and it's a bit of mix of both, where you have that wrestling based, where you have great matches, but you also have a certain storytelling basis to it. Also, they have they're very good at their backstage storytelling, where a lot of their stories happen backstage, either with things happening backstage, a scene that they set up, or in interviews backstage. And then you have, for the mainstream person, or like they like to call it in certain on certain podcasts and industry vlogs and stuff, is the casual fan. And the casual fan gets shat on a lot, because I don't know why they get shat on a lot, because they don't. I think what we as I think I see myself as a casual fan, but a casual fan that needs something to follow, like any good show. And I know I've said this before, but any good show, you have to leave a cliffhanger. You have to be telling a story for me to watch next week, or for me to stay. Those were the high points of the Attitude Era. Was it would finish on a cliffhanger with Stone Cold either about to beat up Vince McMahon or whatever it was, and then you couldn't wait till next week to see it. And WWE has that now. Do I say but WWE is perfect? Absolutely not. No. Triple H has his good stuff and his bad way of booking sometimes,
like any other promoter.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure there's good stuff and bad stuff to find from all promotions out there. Like they're perfect? Absolutely not. But I think they're doing a very good job in giving that casual fan what he wants.
It's like I used to tell you guys, it's a new era.
Yes, it is a new era. It is a new era, and like everything new, everybody was excited, and like everything new that gets people get fed up of his style. Maybe, I don't know. I think he's doing a good job overall. Does he sometimes miss the boat with certain wrestlers that we think, oh, what's happening with certain wrestlers, and maybe we could get into that. Absolutely. But it's very hard to write stuff for every single one. Sometimes you only have 2 hours, first of all, and sometimes you just don't have nothing creatively for those people.
And also, you spoke about TNA and AEW. There's also AAA that WWE's under WWE's
Of
an
course,
umbrella,
yes,
which I love luchadors.
yeah, I love
I
luchador,
I used to
lucha libre.
watch WCW only because for the cruiserweight division and
Hmm.
only. And if I spoke to this to one of my friends, if I was WWE, well, I would bring back the cruiserweight title because now you have AAA. You mix that with some of the superstars of the main roster. You put some of the superstars of TNA, and you put superstars of NXT. You have a good cruiserweight division. Forget about 205. That was the no words.
I think they dropped the ball with that because I think the concept was
Yes,
good,
the
but
concept was amazing. But if you compare the concept of when they had the tournament, or I
mhm.
don't know if you remember if you were
Yeah,
the
yeah,
tournament,
yeah, of
that was
course.
amazing. I was
Hmm.
excited. I'm like, finally, there's something.
Hmm.
But when they brought it to the mainstream,
Well,
they
I,
missed the boat.
but I think the concept was good, and I think the matches were good, and I think when they brought it to the mainstream, their first order of the day was to make Enzo Amore your 205 champion,
Right.
and I think that was the perfect person to bring it into the mainstream. Now, along the way, because Vince McMahon had his humor stints, um, and his bipolarness started
Like,
showing up. So the idea and the way he was doing it was great, and with Enzo on the mic as champion, as being the face of that division or show, it was going perfectly. Then they turned it a bit into a comedy act, and that's when people like, this is supposed to be, you're supposed to focus on the talent and on the wrestling, because the cruiserweights can do amazing things.
mm-hmm.
And when you're trying to go too much to the side of entertainment, in this case became a comedy act with all the stuff happening around the ring, then people like, okay, this is not why we came here for. And that's important. You got to always remember why people went to your product in the first place.
Right.
If you lose that, then people are like, what am I doing here? This is not why I came here. And then people just drive off. And I think that's what happened. uh, and I think, like you were saying, cruiserweights are a big value, and I think they bring a big value to WWE. And I think they're right now are being utilized pretty good. I like the idea of this luchador tournament. I just don't like that it's for the WWE title. uh, Maybe they could have done another way of
Yeah.
doing it, because nobody believes that a luchador is going to beat Roman Reigns for the title.
Depending on which luchador is gonna win the tournament. My money is on Penta.
Yeah, Penta's definitely going to win the tournament, but he's never going to beat Roman Reigns.
No, that's if you know Roman and you watch it every day, you know it's not gonna happen.
And that's one big problem. One big problem with this tournament being for the number one contender for the WWE title.
Yeah.
Two big important things in wrestling is believability, credibility, wherever you want to call it, and you have to come and get me where I am. And if nobody believes that this luchador, whoever wins, can beat Roman, then why are they going to watch the match?
Right. And you pointed something there about the viewer believing of the story and what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
My question to you: are you a fan of the documentary Unreal? Are you like Skip?
No, I'm a fan because, and
Yeah,
I'll
me
tell you
too.
why.
I love it.
I'll tell you why. People complain because they don't take it for what it is.
Exactly.
Guys, this is the new kayfabe. They only show you what they want to show you.
Yeah.
It's being sold as a behind the scenes breaking kayfabe documentary.
But they don't show everything. Exactly.
No,
And people don't
they only
understand that.
they only show you what they want to show you. They
Mhm.
only show you whatever furthers the story they're telling. That's It's part of the story. It's part of kayfabe. Unreal is sold as a unscripted documentary, and it's definitely a scripted documentary. It's it's to further the story. Now, because of all the internet, what you used to call the dirty sheets, okay? Because of the internet, everything is out there all the time. People leaking, these these guys like the Dave Meltzers, uh,
Sound
Sean
on.
Ross,
Yeah.
Flap or whatever, Clap or whatever his name is, and all these guys, John Pollock here in Canada,
The
all
list
these
could go
guys.
on and
The
on and
list could
on.
go on and on. All these guys with sources. Okay.
But they never say their sources.
Well, yeah, because that's normal because journalists never will reveal their sources. But sometimes they should have non-anonymous sources. Like you're reporting on something like I'll take an example of a normal newspaper or news channel reporter. Yes, sometimes they're going to need anonymous sources to further their reporting. But in the reporting, they have actual people that are not anonymous that actually also further their reporting. It's just to make a point or to have more evidence, they'll have the opinion of somebody anonymous or to break a story. Yes, that's all you do. You'll have somebody in WWE that I have contact with told me this. Well, okay, but then you got to go verify and you got to report it in your reporting with another person or two other people in WWE, and those people won't be anonymous. They'll tell you, okay, so I have an anonymous source saying, whatever, Rey Mysterio. I'm just saying anything over here. Rey
Right,
Mysterio
right.
is gonna be released.
Hmm.
Then you have that, but maybe it's somebody trying to advance an agenda or a narrative that for themselves that they're telling you this. So your job is to contact people because if you're a journalist or reporter or whatever, you have dirty sheets on your bed, whatever the case it is, then your job is to contact somebody in WWE or any AEW, whatever, and say, listen, I have a source telling me this. Can you guys confirm or deny this? And usually they'll say we can't confirm or deny, or they'll just plain out deny. And
Right.
that's it. You have a backup to your anonymous source. But back to these anonymous sources that these people, the people have, so they use these to leak stuff. And now WWE is using that and created Unreal for the fan and these journalists to think, oh, we have a backstage, we have backstage access to what's happening behind the scenes. Well, no, you don't have, because if you have, but only what they want you to know and what they want you to see, so you could further their story that they're trying to tell to continue the build up. And
We
that's why I like it, because I take it as what it is. I take it as part of the show, and you get new parts of the story that they're telling for the next rivalry, for the next pay per view, and that's why if you see it only as a documentary that's supposed to be based on reality and behind the scenes access to the fan, then yeah, you're gonna find it stupid sometimes because you're like, fuck, this is bullshit. But don't see it that way. Just enjoy it as part of the show. It's another show that WWE has to further their stories that they're telling on their weekly shows.
don't believe everything you see. Don't believe everything you read.
Exactly, exactly, and that's honestly that's what I think Unreal is, and that's why I think people should look at it that way and not look at it as them telling you everything behind the scenes, because that's not what it is.
But there's some people that think it's 100%. Like they're giving everything out.
Yeah, oh yeah, I've
Everything is
heard
coming
them.
out. What's
But
you know,
that's just not what,
and
and,
it's
and it would take
it's
away
another
from the
way.
fun.
It's another way to grab you.
Mhm.
Oh, this happened. This happened. This happened. I have to go on Netflix and watch Raw,
Yeah, to see
or
why
I
this
have to
happened. Yeah,
go.
Yeah,
and it's
it's
working.
exactly that.
I
It's
love it.
exactly that.
I per
I don't know
I
the
personally
numbers.
love
I don't
it.
know the numbers of Netflix. I still don't know how to verify those stuff. But apparently it's working well. So, and Netflix is happy.
And
So,
there's an extra reason I love it. It's because my oldest, who's 7,
mhm.
he started watching Raw. He's a big Cody Rhodes fan. He's a big CM Punk. I call him Phil. He doesn't like when I call him Phil, but he's a
Mhm.
big CM Punk. But he started watching Raw
Mhm.
because of Unreal.
But
So I was explaining to him what happened. And the cool part of the whole story is I don't know if you remember. You have to go back, like way back Saturday mornings when wrestling used to give in French.
yep.
My son watches Netflix Raw, but in French.
Oh,
So it brings me back to that time.
with Kevin Raphael and Pat Laprade.
I'm assuming I don't know who didn't like.
Well,
I
because
don't know who.
there's two French versions. There's the French version from France and there's the French version from Quebec.
Well, it just says français,
Oh,
so I'm
okay.
guessing it's Quebec
Okay.
since we're in Canada.
Yeah, since we're in
Most
Canada,
likely.
it's probably the one that's available. Yeah.
So I watch Raw. I watch it in English fast for me, but when he watches it, I watch it with him.
Mm. Yeah,
So
of course. Yeah, yeah. And
he
it
loves
gives.
it.
Hey, I used to watch. Raw was always in English, but I used to watch Monday Nitro in French because he used to give on Wednesdays on RDS. So
But wasn't there a program in French like on Saturday or Sunday mornings?
for WWE,
Yeah, or
yes,
am I
but
going?
before Raw.
Yeah, yeah. Like I'm talking about like
Yes,
91,
yes, yes. It was
90.
with Raymond Rougeau
Yeah,
and
yes.
somebody else. Yes, yes, yes. It was. Then after they let go of WWE because I think the rights were too high, and they started giving. I think it was 91. They started playing WCW, and they eventually
Then,
stuck with it until the end of
yeah,
WCW.
that's where I started watching WCW. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, me too. That's where I started watching WCW. I remember as I think it was 91. First time I remember seeing WCW or something that I remember from watching WCW on RDS was Ron Simmons winning the first black man to win the NWA world title.
Hmm.
And well, actually, I think it was the big gold already. I'm not sure if it was still the NWA that they
No,
used.
it
If it
was
was,
it wasn't the WA. It's another. They made another WCW title because
hmm
at that time Ric Flair went to the WF and he brought the big gold.
that's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's exactly right. Yes. So I remember. I remember watching Ron Simmons and everybody coming to the ring and lifting him up and everything,
Yeah.
and it was a good moment. So I remember. I remember all that, and yeah, you were saying about watching it in French and Unreal. That's 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 what it is about. Because look, all these like my nephew, absolutely loves wrestling,
Hmm.
and but he doesn't watch Raw and SmackDown on Netflix or the shows because actually I don't know, maybe it's too late or something, and then he has too many activities. But what he does is he watches everything, all the highlights, all the recaps that there is on YouTube from every single, and then he even watches people talking about them, giving the recaps, and he watches Unreal because Unreal is on Netflix, and
Hmm.
they have on the tablets. So he watches all this stuff, and it's actually getting some people because these a lot of people don't watch younger generations. Not only do they not watch TV, but their attention span is at minimum. So
Very.
to watch a 2 hour show, um, they get unplugged pretty quickly.
Right.
So always on their tablets. So that's why these recaps that they do, these 10, sometimes even half an hour. I've seen like when I was in Portugal and I wanted to recap. I've seen half an hour highlight shows of Raw and or Night One of SummerSlam, and I think this it only helps get more people to the more eyes on the product, and the same thing for Unreal.
Very well said.
Thank you very much.
Our next topic for the this episode is what do we like in wrestling in 2026, and what do we see in our little magic ball in 2027? Do you want to start this one, my friend?
Um, well, okay, I'll start. So, how do I see 2026 ending? Um, I see Survivor Series has to be a strong point, and I'm wondering where they're gonna go with. Now I'm having a blank of the match.
War games,
War Games. Thank you. I was going to say World War Three, but that was the pay per view where they used to do
that was three
WCW.
rings,
Yeah.
which they should bring. Which they should bring.
Yes, that was cool too. But yeah, War Games. So I'm curious of where they're going to go with this. Will it be type of a bloodline versus the other guys that they're trying to form? What do you see
I
that happen?
I think it's gonna be Bloodline because the poster came out and it's the Bloodline.
That are on the poster?
That could be a just little
Yes, it could be that they're setting us up for that, and then it will be a swerve.
because there's a new
No.
there's a new Fatu.
Yes, we saw Zila do his debut on NXT on Tuesday.
So I see
And
something happening there with Solo. Maybe Solo doesn't want, and so Fatu comes in. I don't know.
I
It's
don't know.
still
I
too
found
early.
it. I found it weird that they made him debut on NXT. So that makes me doubt, unless that's what they want. That makes me doubt that he will be going to the main roster right away.
I wouldn't say that he would go to the main roster. It could be that. It could be that. Because now there's five of them, right? Because now Solo is with the Bloodline again.
Well, he has to be delivered to
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
We
Well,
don't
yes,
know
we
what's
do
going
it.
to happen.
So it could also be like a one night thing. Like Solo does something and he helps Roman win, and he goes back to NXT the next day. It also could be that.
Yeah.
It's still too early. It's to know what exactly is gonna happen.
Yeah, so that's why I'm questioning. I'm questioning a bit why they would make him debut, but it wouldn't be behind them to try to swerve us. So I'm not saying it's impossible, but at least in the next month or so, you won't be seeing. Excuse me, you won't be seeing Zila on the main roster. At least I don't think so.
Mhm.
Maybe you will see him at Survivor Series if they do have a match, a War Games match involving the Bloodline. Maybe you can see, because then it would be all of August, all of September, and all of October, and mostly all of November. So we're talking almost 4 months, 3 months and a half, let's say, 3 months and a half before Survivor Series. So it would give time for people to forget about him coming to the main roster. They would see him every week on NXT. You'd have probably established rivalries, something building there, so people would forget about the fact, and then bang, have him appear or interfere in the War Games match. I think could be a possibility with the time frame that I'm seeing here. But I would this LA Knight versus Roman thing that they're trying to build. It's something I would like to see also.
I think Knight is gonna have the title. That's what I see.
I think it's yes. I think it's time. I think it's time for one. I think they will do something similar, maybe not as abrupt as they did with Sammy, but something similar, where LA Knight will win it, just so it would be easier to after have whoever they want champion take it from LA Knight, whether it's Gunter, whether it's whoever, maybe it's Jacob, maybe it's Jacob Fatu, getting the revenge. They want to put the belt on Fatu, but obviously they're not going to make him fight Roman again, because now they're kind of Roman's back in the bloodline, the leader of the family and all that.
Yeah.
So maybe have him lose to LA Knight, make LA Knight the champion, because it's well deserved, and the payoff that people have been waiting for, because wrestling is all about payoffs.
It's long due.
Yes, it's. I would agree with overdue even. He's been built up, has been winning matches for the last 4 years on the main roster, and people have won. I know you want to delay gratification, because the more you delay gratification, the bigger the payoff. I understand that and I comprehend, but I think it's also time. one way or another, you could find a way to make LA Knight the champion, and to beat one of the greatest champions of all time would be a great way to get him as champion and to get him even more over than he already is.
Mm-hmm.
And then with that, you have that payoff, and then you could Roman can send in Jacob to go bring back the title to the family, because Roman doesn't need the title. Roman just wants the best for his family. So then he could be the leader and lead Jacob to bring back the title to the family, since Jay is not good enough to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's something we could look forward to, that I would like to see by the end of 2026. Another thing, obviously, that we will see, but on the other wrestling championship picture, is it's Obafemi time. Obafemi is the next big thing. Not to no pun intended there, to take away from Brock Lesnar's catchphrase when he started off,
Mm-hmm.
but it's Obafemi is the future. Like Braun asked Paul Heyman this past week on Raw if Paul thought Oba was the future, and I think once again Paul Heyman, great on the mic as he is, was perfect in that segment and answered perfectly. He goes, if you don't want me to see Oba as the future, then show me why he is not the future.
Right.
And that made Braun think, because I think they were losing Braun there a bit, and I think this could be a what's that saying that JR used to have all the time about the great matches?
Slobber knocker?
A slobber knocker. I think this could be a slobber knocker, or like we used to say back on our previous podcast, a banger. A banger of a banger of a banger, and I think they could put on a great match. I think it could be a good back and forth. I think Braun can showcase some of his strength, his power against Oba, and Oba can maybe showcase some of his athleticism that we've seen a bit less, because it's been more of a destructive Oba that we've seen. Maybe catch more of his athletic side, because he is one hell of an athletic person. And I think that would be great. So I think if you look at both title pictures, I think that's what I would like to see them going towards the end of 2026, is LA Knight versus Roman on one side, and Oba Braun to figure out who is the future on the other side.
Okay.
What do you see as the year is coming to an end?
I think you pointed that LA is going to win the title. I think LA is going to win, but now is it me as a fan that's telling you that he's going to win? We're not telling you, but wants to win, or is it that that's what's going to happen? There's a two different.
Yeah.
I, as a fan, want LA Knight to win, and I think he's going to have it, but he's not going to have it for a long reign. I gave it 2-3 months minimum. On the other side, I think Kevin Owens is going to win the title soon, and I think we're going to have a Kevin and Sammy rivalry
for the title.
I don't know if it's going to be for the title, but I see it happening now. It's either when Kevin fights Phil, Sammy's going to make Kevin lose, and then Kevin's going to go away from Phil, or Kevin wins against Phil, and then whatever in a month or later, Kevin loses the title because of Sammy. Because I think the Oba, for sure, the beginning of 2027, he's champion.
I think so too. So how do we got to get there? Right now, CM Punk is champion,
right?
And they're kind of teasing Oba wanting to face Roman. But that I don't think that will happen, because they don't want either to beat the other.
Because because Olba's busy with Braun.
Yes, because now in the last week that they've well, since they've caught pass last week.
So I see that passing Survivor Series.
Um, as for CM Punk, I think he's a transition champion,
Yeah.
and I don't think the next champion. I think the next champion will also be a transition champion. So for that, they need to tell a story of
Hmm.
of that. So how do I think they will get there? But I think Kevin Owens, CM Punk definitely is what's going to happen next. We've seen it, we know it. Now, I think you're getting somewhere with the idea of Sammy intervening, but I think Sammy would intervene if he intervenes, would intervene in the favor of Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens wins the title because he's an opportunist, and he'll always take the opportunity to get that title. So when he does interfere, he might look shocked and surprised, but he's going to cover him and he's going to get the pin. But then after, when Sammy approaches him to give him a hug or whatever, then he'll push him away and he'll be, "Why'd you do that? Why'd you get involved? I don't need you to get involved. I asked people not to get involved. This is my fight." And then that will begin the rivalry again with Sammy and Kevin, and like that they could make it for the title. And I think Kevin wins it again. Retains. And then after, we think the perfect rivalry would be Oba against Kevin. I don't see Braun against Kevin. I think Braun. I think Oba and Kevin can put through and can tell a compelling story. Not to say that Braun couldn't, but maybe Braun is not there yet. Braun is not bad on the mic, but I got to admit, Oba is much better on the mic already.
Yes.
Even sometimes saying less, but when he talks, people listen, and it matters. So I think that those are big parts of being good on the mic and doing a good promo is when people buy what you're selling. So I think that would be the way to go. I think they can tell a compelling story, and I think the Sammy Kevin Owens thing. Not to say fuck, I love them and I love it when they fight together, when they have matches together. Some of the greatest matches they have every single time they up themselves. But I think some people might become tired of seeing always Sammy and Kevin, and they're gonna say, oh, Triple H going back to his comfort zone, putting Sammy and Kevin together.
But
The problem is after a rivalry, they'll both have nothing, and you'll have nothing for them creatively.
But can't we say that we're tired of seeing the bloodline too then?
No, because Bloodline is with others. It's rivalries with others.
Yes, but it's the same story.
How?
I'm not saying
What's the-
I'm not saying I'm tired of it, but in the sense
No, I
of,
understand. I understand what you're saying, but I understand what's the story. That's the same one. So what is the story?
well, that Jay and Jimmy are with Roman, and it's the same thing. Just the only difference is that Jacob is there, and Solo's a heel and doesn't want to be with the family. But the main core, it's still the same. Like,
Well, yeah, the people in it, yeah, it's the family. That's gonna be the same.
in the sense of what I think this is our third. It's going to be the third War Games.
Mm-hmm.
It's the third time that the Bloodline most probably going to be in it.
Oh yes, if that's being in the being in the War Games, I could agree. Now the story is completely different than the first time around of the Bloodline. The first time around, they were heels. Roman was cheating all his ways in every match to win. He was using the Bloodline to cheat, and not. It wasn't more for family reasons. When now it's for the family. It's for the family. He's doing it, and they're more baby faces now. Even though I don't know, they still walk the line. Roman likes to walk that line of baby face heel, and Solo. You see, because Solo was on whose team in the last 6-man tag?
Who was on his own team?
Yes. Thank you for that.
No, but in the
For
sense he
that
was with
specification. But the people he was in the team with.
the half of
LA
them are
Knight?
fine. Oh, I thought. Okay, wait, what was the
No, no,
question?
the 3-on-3 they had last week.
Oh, I thought you were talking about last war games he was in.
No, no, no.
Uh,
The last
um,
his last teammates in the
was
tag
Ellen
team
Knight
partners.
and Keys
Okay. And what are they both?
faces,
Okay. So Solo has been pushed as a babyface in the last 3-4 weeks.
which I love. Pew pew.
So, uh, s- so if so, that would mean the bloodline. If they were baby faces, then that would be the bloodline. They were trying to portray the bloodline as heels. And if you look at it individually, forget about Roman's popularity.
Mm-hmm.
Forget about Roman's popularity.
Mm-hmm.
Look at how they act individually. Don't you find Jay's acting like an asshole?
Somewhat, yeah.
Jimmy's just being basically Jimmy, but sometimes breaking, interfering in matches and cheating, which are heel traits.
Right.
Jacob, the way he snapped on Royce and came back and gave him a beating while the officials and the executives and stuff were trying to stop him. He kept on coming back and beating him more and more and more. Those are heel traits.
Mm-hmm.
Roman coming out, everybody thinking he's going to be mad at Jacob for going crazy, but I knew right away that he's coming out to say good job.
Right. But okay, finish your thought. Go ahead.
So what I see here is Solo becoming a face and them, the bloodline, becoming heel. Now, why is that? Could it be that it's just because so they could tell the story and build the match for War Games? Could very well be, but they want to toe the line. And that's why we're talking about this and why we're asking these questions is the reason they're telling the story, because we don't know. We'd like to say we know, but we have no fucking clue. Now you can see.
But also, I understand what you're saying, and you're completely right. But also, when Jay comes out, the fans still like him.
Well, yeah, because he's
when
over.
When Roman comes out, the hand go up.
The pops are going to be there.
Even
the
for
pops
Jacob.
the pops are going to be there. Yeah, the pops are going to be there because people. This all pops all changed. Pops are no longer only for a baby face or for a heel. This all changed with Stone Cold.
Yes.
This all changed with Stone Cold.
Right.
It's how you no longer observe if a person or a wrestler is a heel or a baby face by how they're over. Heels are some of the most over people in the business.
I always liked the heels more than the faces.
Yes, especially in this new era after the golden. Okay, well, after the Attitude Era, that's when you started to blur the lines. I like to call it the anti-hero era or the Sopranos era, because Tony Soprano was the first anti-hero, the first bad person that people liked and wanted to follow. Mm-hmm. So I think that the heel became a bit of a portrait of that. It became a bit of the anti-hero, and that's where sometimes they blur the line and they walk that thin line, and sometimes it's for story purposes because they can't have two heels or two faces have a rivalry, and sometimes it's for storytelling purposes that they want to change that person's not gimmick but path.
Right.
And I think in this case, I think it's more of to tell the story that they're trying to tell, the story with LA Knight, and for it to make sense. That's why I think why Solo going to ask LA Knight for help and all these things, I think is to make him look vulnerable, to make people feel bad for him, for make people to start liking him again. Mm-hmm. And the fact that Jay comes out and that his entrance music is over with the fans doesn't mean nothing, because as he's doing that, then as soon as he gets in the ring, they could easily start booing him, and it's happened. Or you could have, like what you're just doing, you could have Solo mocking him, mm-hmm. which was amazing. Solo mocking him to bring it back or turn it, whatever the thing is, and then he goes and he does it, and everybody popped when he did it.
Right.
Everybody pop. And he's making fun of they're supposed to be their hero. It's because he's not their hero. They just like the vibe on the entrance.
Mhm.
He's not. He's not. He was one of the best merchandise sellers for maybe half a second, but as soon as people got fed up, or not fed up because they're not fed up of the entrance, but as soon as people got okay, it's a cool entrance, but what's behind? What's the what's the substance behind it? And when you see there's zero substance, then people are like, okay, it's a cool entrance, let's go with it. But after, give me
That,
something more.
that's why his reign wasn't long.
Exactly, and that's why they're eternal tag team.
Hmm.
Jimmy's even worse. Together they're amazing. Separate, Jay's a bit better than Jimmy, but they ain't
I
no singles wrestlers.
There's somewhere I read, I forgot where it was, but they said Jay is Shawn Michaels and Jimmy's Marty Jannetty.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good comparison. Except Jay is nowhere close to having the charisma
No,
and the
but
in ring ability and the storytelling ability of. But in the tag team, if you look at it just in the tag team, yeah, we could say that.
I think it's a sense of like Jimmy uh, needs Jay,
Hmm.
and Jay doesn't really need Jimmy, but he's with
Yes,
Jimmy, sort
yes,
of kind
yes.
of thing.
Jay could be a mid card wrestler by himself, and Jimmy would
Yeah,
get
exactly.
released. And Jimmy would get released after 6 months. Basically, that would be what it is. But that's it. Jacob is main event caliber. I think Solo is upper mid card. I don't think Solo's main event caliber. I think he's upper mid card. Could be a great USA. He's been already, I think, USA champion. Could be a great intercontinental champion. But main event, I don't think he has that it factor. Jacob definitely has that it factor. Um, and I think eventually they'll want to go for a Roman, maybe into 2027. They'll want to go for a Roman versus Jacob real rivalry, not like they did last time, bringing Jacob home to the bloodline, but maybe have the coming out party for Jacob when he absolutely gets over on Roman. I think that's the end goal here for them, and I think that's the way to go. If you really want to get Jacob over, I think that's the way to do it.
All right.
So that's what we see for 2026 and beginning of 2027. I have a few maybe things. I know you didn't mention in your pacing, but maybe a rundown. We could do
Okay.
a little rundown just
Okay.
of some things I have here noted. If you agree, we'll do this pretty quick. If you agree or disagree, and what's your opinion on that?
Okay.
Okay, let's start off with: are they burying Joe Henry?
Agree.
Um, so I guess we have the same feeling on this. But and I'll keep this short. I think after not this week, but last week when he got destroyed, I even forget the wrestler that destroyed him. It was a squash match.
Braun.
Yeah, Braun, exactly. Braun Breaker. Thank you. Right there, I thought, it's okay to have Braun win convincingly. It didn't have no reason to be a squash match.
Mhm.
So now, when people are like, okay, this guy's getting fucking destroyed by all these guys when there's no reason for that, why am I interested in him coming to the ring for him to sing?
I would bring him back to NXT.
Yeah, I think another stint in NXT and maybe rethink that gimmick or polish it maybe.
Or put him in AAA.
Yeah, that could be different. That could be different. It's done miracles for other people.
'Cause I don't know if you know this, but there's a Latino version of his song.
Oh yeah.
If you go on TikTok, find it. It's kind of catchy.
Okay, so they could play with that
Yeah.
in AAA. Maybe they could do AAA and NXT. Give him some TV time out there, so he
Mhm.
could maybe get himself over again.
Hmm.
Then I have another thing. Can we or are we gonna get a real Cody versus Randy rivalry instead of what we got in their last match?
What do you mean a real?
Like, will they go 2 or 3 matches where you're invested into this rivalry? Maybe have a normal match. Maybe it's not
Satisfied.
yeah, maybe they're not satisfied, and maybe they'll go for a grudge match,
Uh,
maybe a more gimmick match.
I
What do you
see.
see?
I see a switch.
Double turn, you mean?
Yeah.
So may Cody go bad and Randy go good?
Yeah.
Wow, wow! I would love to see that. I would really love to see that.
Cody has to go
Do
heel.
uh, I'm not at the point where he was at AEW that he had absolutely it was time to go heel because he was that too much of that executive over the top.
No,
I
none of
booked
that.
I booked myself out of the title picture, and then he went from booking himself out of the title picture to being a 3-time champion, maybe 4. So I would definitely be looking forward to that. I don't know if WWE want that because he's still the face. He's still the one that goes to all the interviews, to all the talk shows, and all the stuff.
Yeah,
and Roman's not going to do that.
I understand that, and you're right. But also, there was a time that John Cena was the face, and he was good for his whole career. And when it was time for him to be heel, to everyone's opinion, the ball dropped.
Well, you mean like in his farewell tour?
Yes. Now, if you wait too long for Cody, because Cody said I think he has 2 or 3 more years of his contract, then he has another year new contract, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And everything goes fast.
Yeah, I don't want them to wait for end of this career to be healed. That's for sure. Because I think the ball was dropped on John Cena because of the plans, the way they changed.
Right.
I think that left him in a very vulnerable place, not knowing how to get it over.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that Cody being a heel can get over if done the right way, and I think a double turn is a good idea to do it because everybody loves Randy. So
right.
It's
so if they did it, and if I was like the head writer,
mm-hmm.
the way I would do is that right now all Cody wants is Randy in the ring. But Randy's running away.
Yeah.
So I say Cody snaps, gets his hands on Randy, and then we just get Cody silent. He comes out with his regular natural black hair.
Mm-hmm. I was about to say that.
And he comes in and he comes out. We don't know why. Just silent. That's what I would do.
I think that would work.
Thank you. I didn't know our budget was that high. All right.
Yeah, I think that can work. I can go with that. I would definitely see him come out with the black hair as soon as he turns heel. Like nobody knows, and he comes out with the black hair, and everybody be like, "Oh, we got to heel Cody," and then don't say nothing because then everybody just wants to hear him talk. And when everybody wants to hear them talk, you just gotta shut the fuck up.
And I don't want like those promos that they bring people from the history of their history and stuff like that. No, we know the history. We know where they started. We know, like, we don't need Cowboy Orton to come. We don't need, like, you know what I'm saying?
Well, it depends how they do it because if Cody turns heel, then he's got to be a bad motherfucker because nobody is more of a bad motherfucker than the Viper, Randy Orton.
Yes, I understand that, but like the last time they did it, who did they bring? They brought Stephanie McMahon in the story, right?
Yeah, but she has nothing to do with the story. That's why it didn't make sense.
Well, because she was explaining what Randy Orton was, but we don't need that. We know already.
No, we know what Randy is.
If you don't know, go to Netflix.
If you want to tell the story and it involved other people, then you have like Cody going to Randy's dad's house maybe beating up the dad. Um, you could have you could have
That okay, that I agree with. But I'm
you could
saying
you could have Cody going to Randy's house or something like that, or have Randy's girlfriend wife at the ringside and have maybe an altercation with her on the ringside. Maybe even have what's her face, his wife, come and try to bring sense into him, and him being rude to his wife, which is something that he would never do, which is
mhm,
something that would shock people,
mhm.
because uh, and make himself maybe play a bit with the when he said that he was the one of the best black champions. I
Mhm.
think it was where he said something like that. I think play on that, maybe a bit, get people frustrated with that. There's ways to make people hate him and do things that people are gonna hate. So I think there's ways to go. You don't have to do that old segments where you have them inside the ring, and then he bashes the he bashes Dusty Rhodes, and then he bashes Bob Orton, and then that no, that has been
That
done. We've seen that
that's
before.
what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
That's what I meant.
yeah. Okay,
Okay.
so
Yeah.
that's and one last thing in this rundown,
Mhm.
because we are running a bit almost at an hour time right now. So
Before you
yeah,
when we planned this podcast, we said to 30 to 45 minutes, but it might go
yeah,
over an hour. It's our first
yeah.
episode. This is go over an hour.
Yes, it's but we're gonna we'll be wrapping up in the next few minutes. Don't worry about it.
That's good.
So
We're
yeah,
loving
yeah,
it.
of course,
Keep
of
going.
course. So what
Go.
do you see next for Paige? Can she? Because I never liked this Paige affiliation with the Bella sisters. I think she is such a better talent than both Bella twins.
Hmm.
Even though I like the Bellas in their own characters in their own box, but Paige is such on another level, and I was happy. I was happy to see them break up and to see Nikki and Brie attack her. But what do you see next for Paige? Do you see a bit of time off, or do you see her right away going into the title picture?
I see war games.
Oh, part of a war games. Make her own team. Make her own team against and find. Yeah, that could be a way to go.
Yeah.
And they would bring. I could see AJ Lee participating in this, um, because if I'm not mistaken, Paige beat AJ Lee for her first title.
Right. Well, I there's that, and there's also I would put the Bella twins with I'm not gonna say it. The faction that Jade is in.
Oh, yes, the one that used to be the Fatal Attraction there.
Well, no, the two other
Oh,
there's
Jade Cargill. Oh, yes, 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 yes.
yeah.
Yes,
So
yes,
that's
yes. The Prince
right.
gimmick there.
So right, so right there, there's five.
Yeah. So that would
So
be it for them. Yeah.
and then you put Paige with Charlotte, Alexi, and the new talents from NXT that I'm blank right now.
Okay. Or Sol Ruka or
Or Ruka, yeah. Well, so Ruka right now is busy with the IC title,
yes, that she just lost, and she lost the rematch.
which I think that she's probably gonna be in the Money in the Bank match.
Oh, okay. Yeah, she probably will be in the Money in the Bank match, which is the next pay per view, right?
October 10th.
Yeah. Okay, so there's another one before. Um, yeah, I think Sol Ruka would be. We'll have to wait and see for Money Bank. We'll have a better idea of
Yeah.
what's coming up for War Games. But I was intrigued to see Paige, and I want to see her. I feel her more free in WWE. And even after listening to a podcast she did last week, where she didn't say anything bad about AEW, she just says that she feels different in WWE, and
Well,
she doesn't
it's
feel like stiff. Like she feels like at home, so she's more comfortable, and she feels more safer. So I think that says a lot um, about that. So that's it. Continue with your pacing, which you had planned.
okay. We're gonna go a bit serious here. For those who've been watching wrestling in general, um, there is a female wrestler named Rebel, who's a part of the AEW roster family, and unfortunately, she has ALS. For those who don't know what's ALS, basically, it's a horrible disease that attacks your nerve system. Then it goes to your brain, and then you become paralyzed. You lose your able to speak, and unfortunately, there's no cure, and it's a deadly disease, basically. So me and my friend Costa, MCC, we decided to do something for the Canadian Foundation for ALS. So now AEW are doing the ice bucket. What's it called? The
Challenge.
ice bucket challenge. We decided to do something completely different. So sometime this week, I guess, or next week, we'll do it. And basically, what we have decided to do is basically your arms go across. I know you can't really see how I am there, but for 60
At,
seconds.
at shoulder level.
Shoulder level, thank you. Shoulder level for 60 seconds. The reason we decided to do shoulder level is because, as I said before, it attacks your nerve system and you cannot move your arms.
Limited mobility.
Thank you. While doing that, me and my co-host will tag three other podcasters, and hopefully this little ball will grow and grow for awareness for ALS.
And if you decide to accept the challenge, then you also accept to do whatever donation you can in your own terms to the name of the foundation.
It's ALS Foundation, I believe. I have it written down somewhere. I'm gonna when we do it, I'm gonna post all the information.
We'll post everything.
Yeah.
So you said 60 seconds, right?
60 seconds, 1 minute.
So 1 minute of anybody that does this when they're running or walking or breathing sessions or whatever, know that after a while it becomes harder and harder. So we didn't want to go extreme and go for 5 minutes or whatever, because then people were going to have a hard time, even though people with ALS deal with these things on a daily basis. But we thought that it would be easier for everybody to participate if we did it like this and 60 seconds. And since a lot of people have participated in the Ice Bucket Challenge 5 years ago, or maybe it was even 6 years ago.
2015.
Wow. 10 years ago. So that's how time flies. So we didn't want people the Ice Bucket Challenge again, and people get disinterested as soon as they hear the word, So we wanted to maybe give it a bit of a twist, a little wrestling pit twist, and give our own way to support the cause. And in this case, which is ALS awareness, because even though there was a lot of awareness and a lot of people found out what ALS is, we are still nowhere close for everybody to be aware of how many people are affected by ALS and how it affects these people. Also, it's known as the Lou Gehrig's disease for people that have heard it before in the sports world and stuff. So you've heard it as that, but the real term is the acronym is ALS. The real term, we'll have to look it up. But that's how we decided that we were gonna support this cause and give donations or whatever we can to this foundation. So it's basically going to be this. We're going to be doing it in the following week after this podcast goes up. Today, if you guys are watching this podcast live, this is Sunday. It was pre-recorded, but in the following days, we will be putting up this video of us doing this Wrestling Pit ALS challenge.
Very well said.
Thank you very much.
Anything else before we say adios to our nation?
No, I'm I'm pretty much done of what we wanted to talk about. I'm gonna try. Let me just say this. I will try my best to watch more of the other products, so you guys can say this is not a WWE podcast. This is a wrestling podcast. So we would have to talk about more than just WWE. So I promise to make an effort. If I can't watch the whole show, because I really have a problem staying and my eyes focused on that TV for that show for 2 hours, but I'll find a way to keep up to date with everything. I watch the highlights, and if you have any suggestions for a great match that happened on AEW, just throw it up in here, send us a message or in the comment section, and I'll go check out the match, and then we can talk about it here on the podcast. But my promise to you is I will make an effort to watch more of the other products, so I can come and talk about the other products, knowing what I'm talking about.
Also, talking about other products, there's another Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling
Yes.
on TSN, which gives an hour later on Wednesday. I believe AEW is 8 to 10.
Yeah. And
then,
so 2 hours later.
2 hours later, thank you.
11:59.
At exactly 11:59 p.m. There's the Maple Leaf, which there is also AEW wrestlers that go in, which there is Ring of Honor wrestlers that go in, and they have their own roster. And it had their cool. And me personally, I love. There's Morano.
Mauro Ranallo.
Thank you. I can never say his name properly, but to me, he's the GOAT right now. Mamma Mia always gets me.
Yeah, he's definitely the best commentator right now, for sure.
And he's the reason I followed NXT when NXT was hot.
Yeah, I definitely I've seen what the Mori has been doing. I follow him a lot on social media. I haven't watched the show since it's come up yesterday. To be honest, I was gonna watch it, but then after AEW finished, and I started doing something else, and then I completely forgot, and I didn't watch it. But I'll try to put an alarm on my system. It's on TSN, and TSN made the effort to bring to sign a TV deal with them, so they believe in the product, and so I want to give them a chance. And I like the Mori. I like the way he books wrestling. I like some of the guys he's brought in. I like Stu Grayson, guy from here from Quebec. Yes, the Uno's partner, exactly. So I really like that. So and these guys are trying to give space to the Canadian wrestlers. So we're going to give them a chance, and we're going to watch. And if TSN can give them a chance, I think we can give them a chance also.
And I guess that's it for today.
Thank you, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this first episode of the Wrestling Pit podcast. It was a fun time to speak wrestling, talk wrestling here with Joe. And I hope you guys enjoy, and I hope you guys stay tuned to the many little projects we have around this Wrestling Pit podcast. And any suggestions, any comments, don't be shy. Hit us up.
So from me to you, thank you again. And we'll see you next Sunday, AM. And don't forget to grab your Joe. Peace.
Oh, yeah.